We're at Windy City Triumph and Harley. Oh, it's big. Big old GS.
We're at Mostro. Go.
Thank you. Big old GS adventure. Oops. That's a nice dash. So we're here at a BMW demo day doing some rides, and my first ride is on the new 1250 GS Adventure. It's got like a 7-gallon tank, and all the new bells and whistles that all the new Boxers have. The shift cam technology should give more mid-range torque and more top-end horsepower. I think these are up to 135 horsepower now, up by 10. The new dash, up-down quick shift. I'm basically almost flat-footing on this thing. I don't think it's any taller than my Multistrada, but it's wider because of this huge 7-gallon tank. Looks like we might have some noobs in this group. A couple people killed their engines, they stalled it, and that's how we got these cars in between us. Yeah, I'm 6 foot tall, and my heels are barely touching the ground on this thing. I don't know if the seat is in the low position or the high position. No, this sucks. Well, the auto blipper down is really nice. Very smooth. The blipper is very nice. It does feel a little bit big, a little bit heavy, which is what it is. It's a big bike, huge tank, 7 gallons. I guess you could go 250 miles on this thing, maybe more. I can already feel that it's less sporty than my Multistrada, and that's to be expected. This is more of a long distance, long range adventure touring bike. If I was going to ride from Chicago to Los Angeles, I'd probably rather be on this than a Multistrada, but that would only be if I had more than one bike. Let's see how this works. There we go. Turn that windshield up a little bit. Yeah, that works good. I don't feel any buffeting. We're only going 60, but so far I don't feel anything. I've got good airflow around my body. I feel like the wind is probably around the middle or the top of my helmet. Again, I'm 6 feet tall. It's got a little get up. Very comfortable. The seat is very nice. Good support, but very soft, but not too soft. Like, it's just the right amount of firmness. My legs are comfortable. They're not too tucked up. Might be a little bit lower. I mean, the angle of my knees might be a little bit bigger than on the Multistrada. So maybe a little bit more comfortable for long rides. Oh gosh, that blipper is fantastic. The clutch is like a feather. That's a big clutch master cylinder, I guess. Seating position is very neutral. I'm sitting straight up. Hands, shoulders, everything very comfortable. Position feels about the same as my Multistrada. Oh, I am jealous about this blipper. My Multi's a 2015 and they didn't have any auto blip or quick shift on the Multistradas in 2015. Wish we could go a little faster through here. The ride is very plush, very smooth. I'm going over these like fixed potholes and cracks in the road. I'm actually doing it on purpose. I barely feel the road. The mirrors are excellent. No vibration, no movement. What's really nice about these bikes is that there's no chain. So if you're doing adventure riding, you're doing long distance trips, you know, several thousand miles, you don't have to worry about bringing anything to deal with your chain. You don't have to clean anything. It's a sealed drive unit, drive shaft. this back down because we're going too slow for this thing to be up. Getting too warm. Decent torque. It's got about the same amount of torque as my Multistrada. I think this is at 105 pound-feet of torque. My Multi's 100. So it doesn't feel quite as grunty. Definitely feels more subdued, probably because of the weight. This thing's telling me I got 292 miles worth of fuel, which is ridiculous. Yeah, it's like 7 gallons or 7.5 gallons or something crazy like that. What else we got here? Fuel economy. It's got tire pressure sensors, which is awesome. Yeah, the clutch is incredibly light. I really like that. It's very luxurious. I just don't feel like I could ride this thing the way I ride my Multistrada. I mean, on my Multi, I feel like I'm getting close to potentially dragging me on the street. This thing is just so big. Any bike it's possible to do that on any bike if you're good enough. I don't think I'm good enough to get that low on such a large machine like this. Brakes are very good. Brakes feel better than my bike. I know people have been raving about the brakes on these new BMWs. Well, you got to drag that clutch a little bit longer. I'm not used to that. Yeah, you just don't care about the road conditions on this thing. You just ride over everything. The suspension is plush and it soaks everything up. As far as the power though, I can definitely feel the major difference between this and my 2015 Multi 1200. My Multi has 160 horsepower and 100 pound-feet of torque. This has 130 or 135 and 100 or 105 pounds of torque. Still, that 30 horsepower. And the weight difference too, of course. There's a dramatic weight difference. Maybe, I don't know, 50, 80 pounds this thing weighs more. Definitely can feel the difference in weight and power. The clutch catch is very late. Maybe an adjustment. Yeah, the brakes are excellent. Now you can go really low on the RPMs without any issue. feels very well. Curves are no problem. It just kind of floats. There's really no dive, very little dive, because of the way that the front suspension is on the GS. They don't have normal forks. They have, it's like a double wishbone suspension in the front. The forks don't really do anything. They're just holding the wheel to the frame. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a shock under there. The forks just telescope in and out, but they don't do anything other than that. They're not absorbing or rebounding. It's the shock that does it all. And the way that that is designed, the geometry and whatnot, it means that it doesn't dive. I mean, it barely dives at all. I mean, I can slam on that brake and there's hardly any dive. There's less dive on this thing than on my Multistrada 1200S, which has the active suspension, which resists dive. Oh God, this guy keeps killing his bike. Yeah, the lack of dive is impressive. And again, it does that without any electronics. It's just the way that the front suspension is designed. And we're back. Now it's going to be a mad rush to sign up for the next bike.